Yeah.
Yes, what I would like, what I thought I would like to do today, to share with you a bit of the information and experience that I have had since we are in a house and before in house. The second talk will be like a little bit specifically about why it is that I believe that in-house is working and important. And in fact, it has contributed $1 billion financial support to workers across the KCL. The third one, I will finish by give you some suggestions, which I can say is, which I believe is a good news, where obviously is the alternative way to tackle the issue at the workplace if the union stuck and become a more political or blind side, you know, and then they cannot carry on with a very critical issue such as racism, discrimination, pay gaps, women's, and GTBM. So the first one would be like, what exactly our Inter Fight for the Rights group can do for our members here, our members and those who are not our members of the, and then I'll finish by some ideas which I can, maybe this will be helpful. Yeah. So now I will start from when we started campaigning house. I was encouraged by one of my colleagues, a name called Ola. She's absolutely right now working in Kai campus. So one day, me and her, we had a meeting. And when we had a meeting, we decided that we need to join the cleaners because the cleaners, they start complaining about getting a house. So I got ideas. I said, how can we just join those cleaners? Because some of our colleagues, they're scared. Some of them, they think that when the managers can see them, they'll be dismissed at workplace. And this is what happened all the time. Because we were with the agencies and our people, some of them be dismissed by very tiny mistakes and then send them back to where they coming from. For example, come from agency, they'll say that client doesn't want you. You don't need to be here. Go to the workplace. So we had a meeting and she said, okay, the only person who can take that issue forward is you. So you need to go and join the cleaners. And if there's some security come and join you, we'll be okay. But on the backside, we will supporting you. So I went there personally, was bold, was confident. I wrote a letter to the union chair and she accepted that. And she said, okay, no problem. The company is actually for in-sources for everyone. So you guys, if you need to come in house, you're welcome. So all the long way, I was chairing a meeting with the unions and was cleanings and also was the union, student union. So they was also supporting us. So the meeting all the time, so some of my colleagues are also supporting me. I can mention their names, the guy called Romeo, Adi, Ola. So those are three people I can mention. Those are a tough group who was supporting me on behind. They will say that go ahead, we are behind you. So, and I got also support from Alex. Alex Ruswixi, I can't pronounce his name very well. I think Sister Asha know that guy very well. And there's Alex also, and the leader of the chairperson at that time, her name called Dr. So, and Ezekiel, which is come from headquarters from Unison. So by that time, we companied, I think I'll show you some pictures. Might be, I'm not using a computer now because I'm using a mobile phone. That's the issue. I'll show you the pictures where obviously you can see my pictures was cleaner together with Unison leaders, with the also with the the principal of the King College after we give them approval. Yeah. So then, when I asked some of my colleagues, why you don't come and join me? They said, no, oh, you know, our managers are so rough, and all managers, which is a cleaning managers, security managers, and even a client at that time, we call them a King College, you know. So they are all against us to come in house. Yeah, they don't want us to come in the house in that time. So the good thing is cleaners, they are so passionate and they are so together. And the only people who were not together at that time was security. So, but I was acting on their behalf. I was sacrificing myself, sometimes work at night, come to do the protesting, joining a cleaner. So afterward, we can what do you call it, the in-house, and then after we get in-house, we become in-house. What actually being achieved in the house is just we secure a job for everyone. We secure a job. There's a job security. What mean that this job will be permanent. You'll be working. No one can dismiss you at workplace if you hasn't done misconducts. So security and cleaners are very happy. Then also this become in-house also very important for them because they can go and pay their mortgage. If people who are on mortgage or people who want to go ladder on mortgage, they can go and take a mortgage, or people who want to get a loan, they can get a loan. So because job now is secure, you have certain hours, you have certain amount, you have income, you have annual income. So you know that very well. So what the second one was the number of harassment, bullying, intimidation from a client. That time was a King College, and security managers, cleaning managers, numbers is reduced because they're scared. Because even in King College, they said, no, those people are just common sense. Because those people are in the house now, they will not do anything apart from that. Because if someone is still harassing somebody or bullying, then the union will take take a step forward. Or you myself, you can go and find a private lawyer and take that person to court. So King College knew that, and managers knew that there's nothing again which can be harassing. Because when we work at reception, someone can look at you and he can go and tell a manager lies that, oh, I see the cleaner or I see the security talk on the phone, and there's no evidence. Oh, because he doesn't like your appearance or he doesn't like your color, and this is what happened in King College. And I experienced on this kind of issues. And some of my colleagues, when I was a reps, even now still rep, they're just they're saying this kind of thing. This is issues now reduced or not like before, because some of our colleagues, they were dismissed by a small thing, sending back to the head office, which is they come from, which is agency. An agency, what the agency would do is say, okay, fair enough. They don't want you, we can put you somewhere else, you know. But now when we become a permanent, everyone is scared, include some managers, they're scared. Some of them, they left King College now, and we know them very well. And this is where obviously is a good achievement. So work, security, permanent security work, which is cleaners and security and others. Actually, what I can point out here, the company was not only security and what do you call it, and cleaners. It was in the house sources. People who work, even some who've been by profession work in office, they should come in the house. But because of that, King College, she was just taking issue, just only security and what I call them cleaner. And then they let cleaner and security to come in the house, you know, and they left those guys. They're still using them now. Beggars workers, where they work in the office and they don't give them a nice contract, and they are suffering also because they get a lot of work. And then you are through agency, so you need to work 3 times than a permanent person who work in office, and this is not fair. You know, it's called job loading to those people because they are in needs, and then King College doesn't care about it. You know, and union cannot tackle those issues because the union should take a step forward. Is it because we want to eliminate it, the beggars workers in office, whether you are teaching or you're doing and you're part of King, either it should be permanently working King or else, you know. or being employed, temporary, you know. So this is what obviously we company was. But obviously when in-house happened, it just was cleaning and security was involved in the house. But the company was outsources. Outsources mean everyone, wherever you work. So, and this is where obviously union fell in these kind of issues, you know. So, and what union not been achieved in this kind of thing, because we will be supporting by students, you know, and the students, when the negotiation happened, when the negotiations, the King College give a pressure to the union and said, look, we don't want a student here, was it to start to start doing a negotiation with you guys. Otherwise, there's nothing we can start. And this was all completely shocked, because by that time I was not there. I nominated someone to to take over. His name called Romeo, and then he told me frankly. He said, "Look, this is what happened. There is an intervention during a negotiation in that line." So the union, our union, just failed to get right paid because of that, for cleaning and security. Yeah, and then also that what I'm thinking, in my opinion, that's the union in that case. When there's no student union there, and there's no anyone can give more pressure to the king, because the students are paying king. They are source of income of university. So if they're there, and they know very much, because they are cleaning their places, for example, toilets or study places, they know it very well. And security are securing them for any harm coming from outside. So these are vital workers in the king, you know. So if the student union was there, student union can just convince the king and say, look, those people, they should get a good pay, you know. We get negotiation, and this came out was a beggars paid. Well, obviously no one was happy, but there's no option, you know. So this is what happened, and this is what we say, that King College is still behavior like Hitler, you know, can put it this way. I'm really sorry to say that, you know. So dictator, you know, and because they think that now, even now, instead we should have one together, like HR office. We have a separate HR with other King College, and this they might have ideas one day. They're going to push us back to the agency, you know. And sometimes I ask the union, are you guys aware of this? It might be this politics, might be 3 months, 2 years, 5 years. Do you think, we fed up with those people, and those people are bloody all color people, and let them push them back to agency? We don't care about them. And I'm sure the union will start in this kind of position, because they should compare that there's no way we should be a separate HR with a King College HR, you know. They call us CSS, cleaning, security, whatever service, and different HR. You know, our director is coming from somewhere else. He doesn't know anything about security. She doesn't know anything about security. It just they make it just like a position, and then sometimes, like we are going to strike now, she threatening us that if you go to strike, you will not get paid that day. If the cleaning and security, they strike, because they are planning for a strike now because of what they want, he said you will not going to get paid. And this is complete, it's a bullying letter, you know, and union, and in this case, it should call a meeting to the reps, all of them. He said, look, we need to discuss about these kind of issues. The union didn't call us, you know. Now, what the plan for union now, for Unison at King College now? They are planning for they are complaining about London wages allowance, night allowance, and social hours. You know, so night allowance, people who work at nights and they work 12 hours, they can't sleep, and they sometimes work at nights very hard, no matter what. You work at night. So I can see them, some who do work in the hospital, some who work cleaning and security, police, they get night allowance. Yeah, why not we in King College should not get night allowance and social hours also, you know. And this is since from beginning, and this is actually was two options they give to a union. That one is either we're gonna give people who work very long, they call length of service, or we can give night allowance and social hours. So the union choose the night allowance social hours. Now, 2 years on, nothing been achieved, you know. Yeah, and then also we have a, they are complaining about gender pay gaps. I'm sure there's a gender pay gap at King College and job loads for professionals who work in the office. They give them a lot of work. Sometimes if they don't get agency, they'll just give a job to you and do the job. Even sometimes one lady came to me here, she said she work in the office and she said that she in group A, for example, or might be lower group, and they'll give her a higher group job to do that job. And this is not fair, you know. Why they should not do a promotion? Why they're promoting her to get that job to do? But now they don't want it. They don't want it because she's a color person or she's something else. They give her a job to do it, or otherwise you be sacked or something like that. His consequences can be there, you know. And this is not fair also, you know. So actually also we give a pressure to the union, say, look, we need security or cleaners or professional people who work in office to do something career development, you know. And this is accepted, they're complaining about it now. So, and this is all the 4 points where the union now in KCL are complaining about. Yeah. Now go to a third point, which is what actually is King College should do, or what my suggestion, which is I can say is I will give you leave you with a good suggestion or good news. For my opinion, King College should create a committee, not a King College only, any workplace, because we are in modern world, any workplace should create a committee or body, yeah, representing all body to tackle or establish around the key equality to ensure that the issue facing all the workers are represented, including representation to be building for the Black workers, disabled workers, LGBT workers, young workers, and women women workers also. Because this committee, people should be there. They shouldn't be. They should be paid. It's just like their council and watching what's going on in the organization. Yeah. So this council should be inside the organization. For example, in King College or somewhere else or anywhere workplace. And this is very important. Why? Because to reduce discrimination. Yeah, this can reduce the discrimination or whatever, or LGBT, or young people just passion work, or the women pay gap also, you know. So, and this is what I can suggest. And this also, this committee should can monitor discrimination by minorities, you know, or promote doing a good deed. Those who are doing a good job, for example, those who work very hard, work in office or work in security, they should be promoted. They should be reward them, you know, and give them obviously can encourage for others to work like them. But now there's nothing like that here. Okay, and give them a training to go a ladder. For example, you are supervisor or your manager, then they can train and then come other things. You know, this is where obviously the organization tackle that issues. For fight for rights, what I can suggest is to help the need to help the to help with training or building community for those who are in need. For example, people like who want to become who tackle issues, because like me now, I'm in inter-union for fight because I'm here to get the knowledge, and where obviously I can help people in the union in King for what is actually supposed to be do and what is supposed not to be doing. Yeah. So in this case, I believe the equality for these interfighters is equality and social justice is a central point for us, all of us, you know. So, and then each members here for us here should pay a lot of challenging discrimination and racism practice, making sure that the workplace are promoting diversity and positive workplace culture. So in other words, if we here training people going to their workplace, then now they will know that already you got equipped, like you got the weapons with the munition. When you're at workplace or wherever you are working somewhere, you come from into fighting for rights, yeah? Then because you've been built up by training, you've been trained or you've been getting what I call it, the ideas, then now you will speak loudly to people who are discriminating people at workplace, people who are just misleading people who think that they can be a leader and they're not a leader actually. They're there to misleading others, you know. And this is what officers need to challenge this kind of thing. And it's happened to everywhere, not the King College also, to all organizations in the UK here, is everywhere. As long as you're a minority, they don't care about you. You can be a member, but you never ever to, even if you have a problem, they will not say it. They'll say, oh yeah, okay, we can do it, but they will not do it. You know, we know it will not do it, you know. But if kind of this a training which is getting for interfighting for group, and then also the committee I said before to suggest that they should have a committee at the workplace where obviously it's like a body where to watch what's going on and a workplace organization. And if they do it, that would be good, because this body will be all, whether you're a professor or you're what, you'll be in that table. And then we will discuss about issue which is tackle this problem, to solve the problem in the workplace. Why? Because sometimes union will start of doing things. Union can be a bias. Yeah, it's not only Unison, can be any union, can be a bias, you know, which obviously they are not taking issues further, you know. So if you are on table with those people who are discriminating people, you can tell them face to face, you know, than be representing somebody. You've been representing somebody who cannot take your issue seriously, and years goes by, you know, and this is obviously it should be. But I pretty much learning a lot, and I appreciate this group into fighting. First of all, Professor Jim and Sister Asha.
No, Professor Jim second, Aisha first. Yeah. That's very important. That's very, very important as it gets.
Thank you. Okay, Professor Jim, you are listening now.
No, that's the agreement. That's how it works. I set up the group.
I'm absolutely fine. I'm absolutely fine. I think Aisha's the one who's led this, who's got this off the ground. But Akic, what I really want to know from you is, Akic, how did you actually get empowered? How did you actually get empowered to take that lead? Because I think you were in that situation, and how did you actually overcome that to become a leader?
In a King College, is it? I mean, a Unison. Yeah, as I said at the beginning, I actually when I saw the cleaners that are complaining about in-house, I'm already a member. Let me put it this way. In the first place, before I could become a Unison member, Doc Pace and other like Alex Nightingale and Alex, they just always talking to me, said, look, you need to join, because I talk to them too much. They need to join the union, join the union. And in the end, I decided to join the union. So one day, after a year or 1-2 years.
Can I come in here, Brother Akic?
Yes.
Is Alex Rikiorski, the librarian person?
Yes.
He's the one who encouraged me, Jim. And he's wonderful. I think it was fine to describe him. He's a wonderful kind of quiet guy. And that's the thing. I went to this is the first time I've ever been to a branch meeting. And I think it's the only time in my life I've ever been to a branch meeting in person, because it was 2018, summer. And I had gone to Unison because I was working at King's College and I had problem. And I remember, you know, with what happened, Brother Akic, is that I was working in information compliance. And so the student wanted to be in negotiation, and Unison said, no, they're better at negotiation and not the students. And that's where it went, like you said, wrong. And I was in that Waterloo campus where they barricaded the president's corridor. And like you said, he'd already gone to, I didn't know he'd already gone to America.
Yes, I was there. So what happened? And I pretty much sometimes at workplace, what made me obviously, what motivated me too much, because become very upset and angry when I see some of my colleagues being dismissed by mistakes by managers, and those are managers that are still around now. The King College haven't trained them. They still have their leadership. They're bullying, but they're more scared. Some of them been warned.
And they're all white, isn't it? That's
yeah,
the thing.
white.
I remember dealing with subject access request, and it was a colleague who was actually from this country, definitely black, I think. And yeah, he was, you know, he was being pictured like photograph, you know, and what was happening to him was happening to me, because it was Ramadan and I was falling asleep, and I was actually working on that 5th floor, but not in the president's corridor, but just the other corridor, not as important, but still on the 5th floor. And I wish this colleague was here, because I went to this talk and I said, Aisha, I will follow the Google map. And I went to King's main building, and he was on talk on charity and stuff like that. And actually, it's Brother Akic, I'm disappointed the King's students are not here. I am disappointed. But anyway, I think there's a lot to be said about.
Yeah. Anyway. So what happened is I joined them, and I said, okay, I saw the cleaners that are complaining. Cleaners are very tough and they're so united. I'll give them credit, you know. Rather than the security who are working, they're so scared and they're so put in this way, cowards, you know. I'm sorry to say this, but there are a minority of them, very, very tiny.
I ask you something, Brother Akic. This is something at this IWGB meeting, this cleaning operative colleague who was sort of a campaign rep, he said the same thing. I was like, no, don't say that. He said on the steps, they had to do, you know, I think you're frozen. Is everyone frozen? No, you're back now, So essentially, he said, oh, security are cowards. It's the same thing. Is it because, Brother Akic, why do you think is the reason?
The thing is, because security, the majority of the minority, they're color people, and then they came through agencies, and everyone's so busy. He said that if they dismiss me or if they shift me from a King College to another place where obviously I cannot get hours, you know, and then there's no point me go and join Akic, and then I myself, I have a family. I'm confident enough that if they took me from my workplace, I will get work from somewhere else. I can work any job I can do, you know. But some of them, no. They after when we join in-house, I wish if you go to the Unison website, Unison website, you see the picture. The security come out by numbers after we come in the house. But in the day one, if actually you can send me the link to the email, yeah. I'll show the picture, because I've got the 3 pictures or 4 pictures where obviously you cannot see. The last thing which I was just telling them is that, look, if you don't fight for your right, no one can fight for your right. And absolutely sure, if I were not there, the cleaners will go in the house and the security will not go in the house. You know why? Because the cleaner was so passionate. They do what they can do, but security, everyone busy. You think that, oh, and if like they look like a ship, if the hyena come and take one, they don't care. But he doesn't know that hyena will finish that one, and later on hyena will come and take another ship. You know, And this is what happens. So for me, I stopped this kind of saying, look, I will not. This is why I'm going to cleaners. I'm going to join the cleaners, and I tell the cleaners that security is on my back, and I'm supported by security. Although 3 or 2 people are supporting me, I can test all the security, you know. Yeah, and this is what happened, Jim. Yeah, this is. Yeah.
So, Brother Akic, why are cleaning colleagues more brave then? What is it about them? Because they're also people of color.
Yeah, actually, cleaner. When I started working in college, cleaner was paying less money. You know, by that time, the security was paying £8, and cleaner was paying £5. You know, and they do a lot of work. And then actually, they can't speak English. They speak Spanish only, and they've been recruited by agencies just targeting them, the Spanish people. You know, like some agency here in the UK here targeting Nepalese, you know, because they are good standing, they are doing this, you know. It's not a matter they speak English, but also if you give them the language where obviously like other language which obviously not talking, you can tell, okay, if you tell them stand here, you will stand here. But the cleaners that are so united, I think because I think their culture, from where they come from, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
River has our hand up. Brother Akic, for you.
Yeah. So let's ask River for her view there, because I'm really interested in how you take that step from being just in the background to that leadership role and actually taking that leadership. But let's get the view of River. River has a question, answer, thoughts.
I've got to agree with is it Brother Akic? I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
Akic, yeah.
Akic, sorry about the mispronunciation there.
Yeah.
I would say, I always say the same thing, and I can't stress it enough, is to be the change you want to see. If once you're passionate about something and it has personally affected you or a loved one, you have a drive in you that is you can't deny it, and you have to go with it. Have faith in yourself, have faith in your God, and just move forward with passion. Don't be silenced and don't allow anybody to stand in your way. You've got to have courage and bravery in your heart. And if you believe in something and you know that your intentions are good and that you are not just doing something selfishly, but you're doing it for your people, then you should move forward with courage. So don't always do your research. I think research is paramount. Speak to the people that you're representing. Get as much knowledge and data, statistics as possible, and use the hierarchies that are around you. So you need to go to the higher people, and if there's somebody higher than them, then go to them. Don't allow yourself to be stood back and silenced by somebody. Just keep moving forward. I can't stress it enough. Like, I've gone through hell in this country. And from the moment I was born straight into systemic racism, and I've had 40 years of it. And I'm in my 40s now, and I didn't actually realise for a long time what I was going through. My oppressor has convinced me that I was the problem, so therefore I started believing that, and that was part of the plan. I didn't understand how deep systemic racism was. But I was born into it, and I had nobody to have my back. I was taken away from my parents. I was given to white people that were very, very abusive. And then I was 18 before I met another Black person. And I didn't understand because I'm mixed race as well, I struggled to fit into the Black community because I was raised by white people, and then I didn't fit into the white community because I wasn't white. And so I believed that because of that, I'd been told over and over again that the problem lied with me, until I branched out and started fighting back. So it was my oppression and my abuse that I received that made me stand up. And I'd lost everything, including my children. And it was once I'd hit rock bottom, and honestly, I did. I rose like a phoenix because I had nothing to lose. But once I did, I realized how I wasn't on my own, and I found my tribe. I found more people that had been through like what I've been through, and I realized that my story wasn't that unique. Yet I'd been forced to feel like I was alone. Once you find your people that are fighting the same fight, thinking the same way, you do have strength in numbers. And this is what your oppressors will do. They will try and divide you. The term divide and conquer is so true. And they will try and make it so that you're by yourself and that you haven't got this strength with the team behind you. So I applaud Aisha for the work that she's doing and the networking she's doing, but make sure that the team that are following you and listening to you have a goal and have a guidance. So to be a leader, you need to have a clear intention, a clear goal of what it is you're trying to achieve. Then when you've got your people coming with you and to you, you can say, this is what we're doing. And you have those common grounds that you can find together, and you can forge forward as a team and move in a positive way to make the changes that you need to see. And that's what I've done. And the more that I do it, the more people come to me just through all I can suggest is the grace of God. Many people just keep coming my way, and we've got these common grounds, but there's so many issues to deal with. It's finding, you can end up burning yourself out because you're so interested in so many different issues. You really need to stick to what it is that you're trying to achieve and move forward with that goal. And once you've chipped away at that, then you can move on to the next one, because all of the issues are really interlinked. So, you know, you'll find that it's like a big spider web, and you just sort of, and you're all doing that sort of same thing. So really do write down a list of all the things that you're passionate about, and then prioritize them. And once you chip away at it, one bite at a time, like eating an apple. If you got an apple, you wouldn't put the whole thing in your mouth, would you? You bite it piece by piece by piece. And that's what campaigning and activism is about. It's about not biting off more than you can chew, and not burning yourself out, because then you're just useless to everybody. And it is hard work. The issues that we're facing, which all come down to racism and capitalism, are huge issues, especially when it comes to climate change. We've got Mother Nature on our side. Even she's fighting back. The destruction that we're seeing at the moment throughout the planet is absolutely soul destroying. But if we don't have the one source that keeps us alive, then we haven't got anything. And so it really is about prioritizing what we need to do. And sometimes it's not always exactly what you're wanting to do immediately, but you have to prioritize what we need to do as a whole, as a people, as a team, and encourage the people around you to do the same thing. Because once you're passionate about something and you're sort of headstrong and you're moving forward, you can be blindsided and not realize that you're missing the greater picture. So I can't stress enough to keep that common ground with the people around you, and make sure that you're all moving forward in the same manner and in the same direction, else you're just going to end up falling away and branching off to different things, and to be able to come back to the same conclusion in the first place.
Excellent points.
I hope that helps.
It does.
Really rich points. So I guess, Jim, we were one of the lineup for this, wasn't it? But we only got 10 minutes, and I think it's a good time, probably not to talk about the mentorship, but me and Jim now going to record our mentorship, like when we do our catch-ups. And I already got one recording that I'm ready to. Brother Akic, you may need to mute. And maybe was that, Jim, your point? Was Brother Akic had a mentor, somebody who encouraged him to become, maybe in his school days in Sudan, who knows? Was that where you were heading towards?
Well, what I was saying is that you need that passion, you need that faith, you need that that inner feeling of what you're going to be doing. But then you also need someone who can empower that. And I think the two coming together are very, very important. You know what you want, but then having that mentor, that person who is able to say, yes, go and do that. As Brother Akic said, go and join the union, go and make that point to the leader, to the management, so that you can actually put yourself in that position. And having that faith enables you to put yourself into that position. Having that mentor gives you the impetus to go forward and to actually make that point. So
Jim, I was going to be really cheeky and mean and horrible and say you are bigging your own self up, but maybe, is it, Jim, you had a mentor in your young days?
No, absolutely.
So who was this mentor, briefly?
No, but the thing is,
like, what were they like, or who were they like?
As a white empowered person, you have plenty of mentors. You have people who, people put themselves out and give you that that time. Whereas I think from what River said and what Akic said, those don't come easily to people who haven't got that network of empowered people who can do it. And empowerment needs to be shared so that everybody gets a chance to put forward their passion, show their faith.
And that's where we can sell the racist union. And I'm currently selling the union by just saying it's racist. Is that what we've done, or rather what I've done? And Brother Akic, I corrected you because we don't want to run into the view that Jim, as the white Professor Mann, he is the leader, he's come up with the group, because factually he hasn't. I have come up with the group.
Did you say I haven't done all of this?
Exactly,
No,
that's literally it. But he's the one who helps me, because today we would have a horrendous disaster if I was attempting to chair this meeting. And the reason why I'm not able to chair the meeting, just to finish off, is because right now I haven't had the opportunity to have my voice heard. I think when I reach that point, when I've had my voice heard, that's when I'll be able to step back and let others be heard. But in the meantime, Brother Akic, did you have a mentor then?
Sorry, could I just come in with that? One thing that I've learned through all the work that I've done over the years is that I mean, I'm mixed race, so I'm Indian, I'm Black, and I'm white. So I'm a proper tin of beans, and so I come to any fight non-biased. And even though I do fight and represent Black Lives Matter and things like that, I cannot be biased when it comes to white people. My family are white, my children are white, and so I cannot. Not be stood there. I've got white blood. Many people are racist. It is within their DNA. But there's a lot of white people out there, many, that have fought our corner for generations, and do not underestimate that fact that a lot of our voices wouldn't be elevated without them. And there is a lot of acknowledgement of the issues with racism and systemic racism throughout the white community, and they do what they can. And that white privilege guilt that courses through them is part of their driving force, and I don't think that should be underestimated, and I think it should be more acknowledged and appreciated, to be honest. So I don't really stand for anybody speaking ill of white people. What I do stand for is people speaking ill of racist and oppressive people. It's a very different thing.
Is it okay to cut you, River? Because before Dario leaves, it would be wonderful to hear a few words from him. Dario, if you're walking home, would you like to say a few things? Hola, Dario.
Hello, I'm here.
Hello. Please tell us. Yes, we can hear you. Even better if we can see you if you're off the bus.
I'm so sorry I have to leave you now. It was very useful. It was good to see you, Akic. Yeah, I remember the days when we were staying until very late to plan protests, to plan leafleting and encouraging a lot of cleaning and security staff in King's College to join the protest, to come out for security. I recall that it was quite difficult, not necessarily because they didn't want to campaign, but because they were stuck in their desks. You know, they had to be at the desks. They had very short breaks. With our members in the cleaning team, it was a bit easier because they will finish their shifts, they will come out, they will join, we will put music on, we will enjoy the moment, and we will make our voices heard. So it was very encouraging that time, and the intention obviously is to replicate this in other places. The reason I am in this meeting is because we are trying to encourage the cleaning team in University of Arts London to fight to achieve insourcing as well. So I have to leave you now, but thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words. Sorry, I have to be with all the noise in the background.
Lovely, no problem. Thank you very much, Dario.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, bye for now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the whole point here is, you know, we need to share the power. People with power need to share that power with others. That's the purpose of mentorship, is to enable people to see how power can be gained.
Brother Akic, you need to kindly mute yourself. Yes, the speaker needs to be muted. It would be then good to hear from Brother Bunja and Kyron, Jim, when you can bring them in.
Yeah, Bunja, let's have a word or two from you.
It's your face, Brother Bunja, faces.
Yeah, I'm around. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just sitting down under the mango tree, enjoying myself. You know, Africa is nice.
Brother Bunja, as I always say, Brother Bunja's got a big house
I've
and
been
2
listening,
wives.
and thank you, Brother Akic. It's been a wonderful journey. And, you know, when
maybe it's best not seeing Brother Bunja and his...
when it was my time to speak, I just got up and said, well, it's all about unionism. So if you want to be a chairman or you want to be a union leader in this country, it's 1 foot in the organization and 1 foot out. If you are not prepared to do that, then don't try it. So you have to be willing to sacrifice your job when it matters. So that's why that's what I always tell them. And in the event that I am out for fighting for your rights, I held my head high. In the event we met or we meet anywhere in the streets, people will look at me and say, this guy, he was the one fighting for this and this at the school. But unfortunately, they come around and got rid of him. So I think I said to them, I'll be pleased to take that remark. So when it was time for the nomination, some staff came to me and said, look, Bunya, we want to nominate you to be the chair. I said, okay, it's fine. I talked to a few people. They said, we think you can do it. So that's how I came into to being in the union. Then at that time, there was this security manager who was also very powerful, especially within the transport department. So he also was nominated by drivers. And we had almost 40 to 50 drivers around.
That's Brother Idrissa, isn't it?
No, this one is Kambi Ibrahim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but one side of the story, I'm a trained nurse, and MRC virtually the driving force is nurses and field workers. So with the respect I commanded through the nurses and the field workers and most of the lab staff and other staff around. So it was a tight election campaign, tight contested, but at the end of the day, it was a serious election though. That's the time I experienced how people going into elections, how the stress they undergo, sitting down until 1 a.m. listening to the results. So it was so stressful because of the so many remarks that has gone through. So basically that's the experience I have. And to be honest, I was happy with one remark today. Someone said to somebody, I definitely like our chairman. He's very respectful. He said, I've been following my training folder for 6 months from somebody. I couldn't get it. But the moment I told him, he called the person, the next day they sent me my training folder. So that's the type of thing you need to solve. When people have issues with finance, when I know that this is not right, I stand for it. So if you want to see the bad side of Bunya, is do something that I feel you are trying to advantage staff. So if that happens, I go to the director of operations. If he can't do anything, I seek his permission. I go and see the unit director. That's how I operate. I start from human resource, director of operation, and the unit director. So that's how I operate. That's we are. In fact, I've requested for a JCC because Jim, I've been told by the groundsmen that they are outsourced. You understand, which I was not aware of at all, because the groundsmen in the Basse MRC camp are employed by MRC. The groundsmen in Keneba MRC camp are employed by MRC.
Up that issue.
So Fajara, I don't know why in the main camp they've been paid almost £1.42 per day. You understand? If you change that to years, about $10, which is pathetic. So these are the type of things here also. We've done our best, and we are about to organize elections. We'll soon go. We have written to the election committee to get them their just in progress so that we can hand over to another incoming executive. But that will take us through now against June. We see how, because of the Ramadan coming in April, the feast, in May, something like that. But absolutely, I enjoy being part of this group. People like you, you've been through all this thing. You know what I'm talking about. So Aisha been so a driving force behind supporting. So I like that. As Akic, I've come, Sister River, and other people joining the group. So it's brilliant being part of the group.
Yeah.
And I think we're not dying, Jim, isn't it? Today is the day where I decided I'm not going to start crying because we had 4 people, because I think we are onto something.
It doesn't matter.
No, and yeah, it doesn't matter. Actually, Brother Akic, me
influence. So whether we have 2 or 3 people, I don't mind.
No, and it actually took 2 people to get this off the ground, which was I needed someone's backing. I needed Jim's backing because we wanted to host up Sana. Jim, yes, this is much better than typing. Brother Bunja, Jim said, can we get more sisters from Gambia to join our group? Because we were feeling, but see, Jim, now another sister, she didn't turn up, but my recruit on Saturday, she said, what about black men? Well, Brother Bunja, Brother Akic have proven there's plenty of black men, male power in our group. And Brother Rajab, who supports with his messages. I guess we don't really want just women, anybody, everybody and everybody.
Yeah, Jim, bro, how to call it? Jim told me, so.
He's spoken to you, great.
Yeah, by an email. So I'll be looking around. There are some strong, powerful women who want to.
Well, we're now thinking not just sisters, brothers, sisters, everybody.
I know, yeah. Even in my team, wherever I go, I always want equality. When I go with men, I turn around, they are not around, I say, where are the sisters? So that's how I operate here. So it will be better to have some of them, and I'll talk to people and see how it goes. Anyway.
Yeah, mashallah. And now Kyron, Sister Kyron, we want to hear from you. We want to see your face.
Okay, well, I can put my bit in my face, so it's going to be a bit strange because I've just had this
operation,
actually in the tropical diseases, not the main lung. It was in the UCH bit of tropical diseases. Because I had a cicatricial BCC, cancer thing that was right on top of a nerve.
Wow.
And it was supposed to have been done about 2 years ago, and it just didn't, because of the pandemic. Everything took a really long time. So eventually, my GP re-referred me, and someone rang me and said, "Oh, wait a minute, you should have been done ages ago. What, can you come in next week?" So I just came in, and it's actually not too bad, but I feel a bit strange. What was I going to say? Oh, lots of things I have really spoken to me this evening. We were saying about burning out and keeping your list of one thing then another thing. We had quite a difficult meeting, UCU national meeting, where there's a huge amount of disaffection, huge amount of disappointment and frustration that the voices of ordinary people are not being heard by the top, whatever. Including things like one-day strikes, and I just felt I can't. So I've had some moments this week of thinking, feeling quite alone, because the people who've grown around me, which began as me and one other person in Wimbledon, kind of reviving that branch, and then I moved to UAL, and we've sort of got the whole, I'm not head secretary of the whole thing, 950 members or something, but lots of people became more. You get these waves where more people get involved, a bit like what River was saying, people get involved for different reasons. And then it can happen sometimes that, everyone's got something going on. Someone's father's just dying in India. In fact, he's gone back there today. Someone else is broken up in a relationship. They're dealing with their mom. Someone else is burnt out. So I look around and I think, where is everybody? I feel like it's just me, and so I was feeling quite sort of like frustrated and downhearted this week, and especially I was a bit whacked separation. And then I just thought, come on, we just have to do this. This is kind of what it's about, and felt I kind of got tapped into the energy again, tapped into some other energy where people said, yeah, we're going to do a combined thing. We're going to do a combined. Let's link up and do a combined picket, a combined action. And those things made me feel, yeah, that's okay. It's okay. There's people who've got your back. There's people, there's collective energy, and that really has kind of lifted me up. And I was also thinking what you just said there, River, about how long it took you. I think that's the case for lots of us, where we think, and that is what I see is more in common than what separates us, where you feel that you're the problem. I think many people have had that experience of with more and less outside events in it, in a way, but outside kind of forces driving that. And I was just thinking, my nephew today is working in Sierra Leone. His partner's mixed race, and they both work in different kind of NGOs and different stuff there. And I'm thinking, is that kind of white guilt that he's there? Is that why is he there? But he was actually born in Africa because his mum was working in Malawi when he was born. And I think there's reasons why people kind of get drawn towards, pursuing their kind of shared values. And I think I really hesitate to kind of, it's so easy. As I say, I've said this lots of times, my parents weren't born in this country, and I have that kind of sense of being a child of an immigrant, but at the same time, white, there's so much that comes with that. I speak the right way, I do, certain things the right way. So I fit in some ways, I don't fit in other ways, but, I can't. So if I think, there's lots of things that I think, we can get over collectively, I don't want to, I'm very aware that I might be just treading on all sorts of things bluntly by saying that, some people can say to me, there is no we, because you'll never understand what it's like to be me. And I think, okay, I can't understand what it's like to be you, but we don't have to fight each other. But I suppose what I felt this week a lot is, for God's sake, there's enough shit out there. We can't fight each other. Really, we can't fight each other. Those of us who are at heart on the same side, or fighting for some of the same things, I think we really have to combine our energies.
Can I cut in, Kyron? Yeah, one of the key things was, the plan was, let's have feedback for Brother Akic. Brother Akic, am I right?
Oh, sorry, yeah. He was brilliant. Yeah. No, actually,
what did you like?
Important. And yeah, that was really clear. I kept cutting out.
Brother Akic, you need to mute the speaker.
Yeah, I found that was really, really helpful. I've been out with the Great Ormond Street security people this week. They've now had an injunction thrown at them to stop them striking, to stop them picketing. And I think, hearing about how Akic and you and others worked that way, found a way through that. And as you say, found all the things that I know sort of intellectual, I know kind of mentally, like mapping the things that River talked about, like working out who you have to speak to, working out where your strengths will be, mapping out who you need to speak to, what your priorities will be. But you lived it, Akic, and that was very, very clear. And also one thing I thought that was really important that I learned the other week as well is that it's very important is not to assume that people know how to behave or how to work certain kinds of meetings. And that just made me think a simple thing like explaining that actually this is what happens as a chair. It's okay for everyone to speak, you put your hand up, or there's someone on the floor, those kind of things. If you want to be inclusive, you have to say those things. You have to make sure that you're not speaking too quickly. You have to make sure everyone in the room understands when it's okay to speak or not. So that was something I really, and that's something I'm sure you've had to go through with lots of your members who come from different places and different experiences of collective action.
Yeah,
and may not.
Those rules are difficult.
Actually, this is a good point to come in, Jim, because this is what happened to me. Nobody explained it to me, the rules of union. And I know River's had her hand up for a long time. River, Brother Bunja called you Sister River, just to make you feel better. But I'm just going to take maybe a quick second, is I want to be on this recording, talk about how I did the outsourcing campaign at LSH. It was one person who had to say, look, BLM is happening. Let's get this off the ground. And I did it all back to front because I didn't know about allyship. I had no idea about activism. All I knew, and River said, you have to do it for the goodness. Well, I operate on 2 levels and it's not a secret. I do things for my ego, as Jim is laughing. And I also do things, when it was really tough, I said, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah. And he was like, summer of 2020, I'm stuck in my room, 9 o'clock, and I'm just sending emails. But what I was good at was connecting people. And it wasn't the actual outsourced colleagues. It was me. It wasn't Jordi, the Spanish use a person from IWGB. It was me. It wasn't the PhD people. It wasn't the BLM group, because this is the issue we have. This is the biggest issue we have, is why didn't the students turn up here? Why didn't more academics turn up here? Is we're not interconnected. And what if we done anything today is we shown Brother Akic, he gave us so much rich content about how he did things, about how the whole thing works, about insight into everything, about how the actual figures, things we would have never known if we don't have Brother Akic as a headline speaker, like how bullying and all of that went down, how they dealt with it by getting rid of the white managers. Yep. Who would have told us this? And this is what I was telling my big recruit, who I'm very pleased with.
Okay, let's get River to talk.